Hi guys, what's going on, and welcome back to an episode of Total War Arena. So, we are going to be back taking a look at the slingers today. Something a little bit different. I did have a look at these guys probably about a month ago now, something like that. It's been a while since I've had these ones out. So I thought, let's have a revisit and see how they do. Because obviously, sometimes it's a video a few people have actually asked for, the slingers as well. That's something I do a lot on. Obviously, I am only at tier 5 with the slingers. I have now got them fully upgraded. But obviously we're still being down at tier 5, means I've not played them that much, so I'm by no means a slinger expert. What else is to say about them? Well, people often ask how do they differ from archers. Well, in principle, slingers have less damage but more range, and archers have less range and more damage. But kind of how it breaks down is kind of interesting. So, slingers provisionally should have, or are supposed to have, relatively low weapon damage. And if you don't know, weapon damage and body armor is sort of on a one-to-one relationship. So one body armor blocks one weapon damage. So, for example, with the base 132 weapon damage, you would have to have 132 armor to stop all the damage. Although armor actually operates on a 90 to 100% efficiency ratio, but to not make it too complicated, we're going to forget about that. Obviously, with consumables and upgrades, I'm getting another plus 16 weapon damage. That's putting my up to 148 on my weapon damage. So the combined, so if you're shooting someone frontally, the armor and shield armor would have to be more than 148 for them to block the damage, and then they would only receive penetration damage, which in this case is only 10. You'd only be doing 10 damage per hit stone. But, and that in most cases will be the case, because most people's combined armor and shield will exceed that. But when people turn their back to you, they lose that shield armor, because obviously you're shooting them in the back, and they only get that body armor value, in which case 148 is normally fine to exceed that. You'll suddenly start to rack up quite a lot of damage quite quickly, almost as quickly as archers. And that's when they really come into their own, when they're looking for those opportunities, or shooting people like falxmen or other archers because they haven't got shields, you know, other slingers, javelin men. So you can really start to rack up on those more lightly armored targets. These guys really start to rack up their damage pretty quickly. And of course their range is absolutely insane. You know, 152 with upgrades is fantastic. I'm running them with the Archimedes Council consumable, which gives me that increased range. Also gives increased acceleration, but fairly irrelevant. But the range is plus 11 is actually really nice. That means you can hit over such long distances, which is what's unique about this unit compared to archers. Is just that the range potentially is so high, and that means obviously it gives you a lot more options in terms of who you want to stick with. You know, you can stick with units much more towards the back of the base, stick with your infantry and stuff like that, and you can project your damage over a hugely wide area. The one main consequence of slingers over archers, though, in terms of their damage projection ability, is the firing arc. So slingers shoot straight, or pretty much straight, a very low little firing arc, whereas archers can do that, or they also have the potential to shoot up and over in like a sort of a mortaring type effect. And that means that archers can clear buildings, can clear walls, can clear large hills in the ground and other such terrain issues to still apply their damage, and slingers can't, because slingers can only shoot that sort of relatively low trajectory. So if you put a building in the way, it means they can't shoot anything beyond that building, you know, hidden behind that building. Put a hill in the way, they can't shoot beyond that. You put, you know, like on Hadrian's Wall, if you put a big wall in the way, they can't shoot beyond that, whereas you can be returned fire from by enemy archers. So that's one of the big weaknesses. And of course it also means it's kind of easy to cause friendly fire with these guys. If you get a shot in the wrong place, you'll slam into the back of your own units and you'll cause a tremendous amount of damage. So you've got to be really careful with that. You know, don't think you've got your units engaged in a line and the enemy units engaged in a line and you're still behind your own units. Don't try and focus fire on the enemy, because the flat trajectory will just slam into the back of your own units. You've got to be really careful in how you use them, because it's easy to cause a lot of fire. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about them. I think we should just hop into a battle and sort of see how we get on, really. See if we can cause some damage. So we have loaded in with our slingers on the Apis Graria, I don't know how to say it, this map. I'm not sure why I'm at the back, but I don't want to be at the front, and we do have a reasonable amount of infantry support in front of us. And worryingly, large amounts of cavalry on our team, so that suggests there's going to be large amounts of cavalry on the enemy team. But we do look like we're top tier, so can't complain too much. Just need to be very careful to stick well with our guys. So we'll go straight on with break ranks. I always have this on if you're running slingers and Miltiades. No reason not to. Obviously, it's just a definitive buff. Hopefully, these Principes are going to move up. Is everyone going to go to the hill, or is everyone going to go on the flat? Is the next question. There's a weapon damage rate at least 140. That's it, yeah. Pretty decent actually for tier 5. So let's just move up. Nothing really to say here. We're just going to keep moving up to this hill. You see the range on these guys is lovely. We really need to take the top of the hill though because of the way the firing arc of these guys works. It's not so easy if you can't. And you know, if we can get to the top of the hill, we can start shooting down on people. So there's some enemy slingers there. Look at the range of these enemy cavalry. Can we get a volley off here?
Watch your fire!
Be more friendly fire than that. Oh, we overshot and hit some enemy infantry. I'll take it. So we've got all our guys moving up here. Are these all in? They're not actually in. Oh, keep getting out of range. Can we have some neat lines, please? Let's shoot at these guys if they're not in Testudo. Oh, archers. I'll certainly shoot them. Go on, get a hit on them. That's how I want to hit. I'll even strain for them. Make sure, let's turn around so we're not going to get hit by anything secretive. But killing out the enemy archers here is really useful. Go for a focus fire on them as well. Keep the damage up. Nice! Well, we certainly hurt that enemy archer unit, if nothing else. Good start. As you can see, we don't get tremendous amounts of damage with these guys. But we do get a little bit. We can't complain too much. I'm just trying to stay with some sort of support because there's a worryingly large amount of enemy stuff around there. That's friendly. I'm going to pull out of these guys. I will shoot into these mounted war bandits. It's going to cause friendly fire, this is. But I think it's worth the risk. Yeah, because our guys are going to pull out. So let's get damage, particularly in the back. Come on, get a volley in the back. Nice. That's what we like.
Fire on my mark.
Keep up. Double volley. Oh, it's going to be a bit inaccurate. Okay. So you can see we get really good range with these guys, which is what's nice. We can sort of sit relatively far back. We can sort of keep our damage up. Just trying to play it safe. I don't want to take any losses early on when I don't need to. You know, looking for opportunities. These guys, you know, looking for units that aren't so well armoured. Units that haven't got any defence with them. Trying to get some shots on, particularly on the main things like that, which are threats to me. Trying to find anything that I can hit is not that easy, though. Let's keep back. I think we're keeping out of relatively good vision range on them because their slingers aren't able, seem to me, to get shots onto me, which is good for us. Got things like these Kanane pikes here, Kanane spearmen here, because they don't have a ray shields like anything like that. They have nothing to mitigate missile block damage or anything like that, so it's kind of easy for me just to get damage on them. Particularly while I'm trying to decide if there's anything else I want to shoot. Just sort of easy damage. While I'm just sort of waiting and thinking. We'll probably cease fire that. Ooh, friendly fire. Yep. That's what you've got to be careful of. That low firing arc does make them a little bit dangerous. A little bit risky for friendly fire. So I'm just seeing more opportunities. Trying to keep an eye out for any enemy cavalry. We know there's barbarian mounted warbands, so they have got an infiltration available to them. But be careful for that sort of thing. Particularly if these are, it's great when people turn their back on you, because that's where the damage potential actually comes up. I get hits on them still. And we're just keeping ourselves safe. That's what kind of, I think, slingers are. Oh, enemy units there. I'm surprised they can't hit me from there. Very foolish of them to stand there. We'll drive off the flag point. Nice, 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 nice. I thought they'd be able to see me there. Let's pull back to our artillery. So there's no real opportunity here for me to get hits at the moment. You know, these guys, well, I can probably get a volley into them before they hit.
Watch your fire. But,
you know, it's not really worth it with the total of the hits I'm going to get on allies. We could potentially flank around here a little bit, but we are getting a little bit risky in terms of exposing ourselves to cavalry now. See how this does in terms of friendly fire. Okay, not so bad. Get some shots in here. We're getting rear shots now, so that's good. It's increasing the amount of damage because people don't get the shield armor when you're shooting in the back. We can keep sort of some concentrated fire without causing too much friendly fire. That's the key question, you see.
Focus your fire.
How much friendly fire are we causing? You know, we really need to be a factor of sort of 3 to 1 or less. You know, it's not worth annoying your teammates and ruining people's games just because you're doing the same amount of damage to the enemies you are your allies. You know, friendly fire is one of those things you've really got to be careful of. And then, as we've got the unit quite significantly reduced in health there, I'm probably going to cease fire because I think it's going to become to the point where it's not worth it. We're going to get slingered here. I just saw some enemy slingers. Have we lost visual on them? We have. So let's keep pulling back. We seem to be like retreating a slow retreat here as these enemy are pushing off this hill line. It's hard because we haven't got visual on them. I'll have a volley into you though. We seem to be significantly outranging these enemy guys though. Oops, we got hit there. Without visibility on those slingers, it's kind of hard for me to do anything. I just want to keep out of their range, keep out of the damage. We've got a full strength unit, good damage potential, and we know they're less. Okay, there's enemy cavalry coming in. Get some early shots in. They're going for the light artillery, not me. Oh, actually, don't do that.
Watch your fire.
That wasn't worth it. Sorry. Sorry about that. I should not have done that, particularly with friendly cavalry turning up as well. Okay, so we've still got a good chunk of enemy cavalry down here. They're going to provide me with an opportunity to shoot them. Go for a strain. Try and get some volleys in, particularly if we can get some damage in on the side. They're not that well armoured, these guys, so we will do some damage to them if we can. Okay, a random unit of Principes is coming from behind us. Where have they come from? I have no idea. Genuinely have no idea. We're going to get peeled. Ow. Let's hide in the grass. Should lose visibility on us and should provide us with the opportunity of getting damage on them. I don't know if these guys have realised. Yes, they have. There goes the undeployment. So let's pull back into the long grass over here. We've still got that full enemy cavalry to worry about. That is probably my main concern. Because they'll do a lot of damage to us. I'm hoping these Principes will get stuck into a fight somewhere else. Provide me with a nice opportunity to open fire on them. I just want to make it to the long grass for a bit of cover. We can keep at distance of them. You know, Miltiades, that's why I run with Miltiades as a commander. It's really quite nice, good amount of speed. Keep up the damage, and then let's pull back as we're starting to get threatened again. And we can just keep at range, keeping our damage up, and that's really what we've been doing all game. Nothing spectacular, just keeping our damage on. And this is where Slingers are... Ooh, nice. They're more of a threat to me. Okay, let's let them charge the light artillery if we can. Ah! We have got an infantry charge if I need to use it. I'm going to, but I'm not sure that's really very helpful.
Their base will soon be ours.
Oh, they're rather anyway. Oh, no. Pull through the living. Stop, turn, fire, volley.
Our men are being attacked.
Okay, we're going to get hit here now. Going to hurt a little bit. Not actually that much because they did a pretty bad job of the charge.
We need every last soldier we can get.
I don't want to cause too much friendly fire. And obviously we've got these Principes. But as they pull out, that's when an opportunity, if I can actually click on them, presents itself. Because you get that back shot and look at that, and we're cutting them down. Keeping that damage up. It looks like they're fully pulling out the fight. And it looks like we've got this battle well in the bag now. Let's put ourselves back out so we're not clumping up again. Sticking with the friendly infantry. See, and then you just get opportunities like this, you see. I can get hits in now without causing too much friendly fire. Look at that. And cease, because we're getting friendly cavalry again. You're just getting a free 4k damage. You know, you can do a lot when you start hitting enemies in the back. And that's why I think Slingers can be pretty good once you get the hang of what you're doing. We'll find with this fight here. Even though there's allies, but the allies are almost certainly dead, you see. Ah, look at that, he's got me. Damn, not paying enough attention. Okay, let's just pull back to our own infantry. I got a bit caught up with the prospect of having a lovely free dinner on all those cavalry there that were focused on the Ongers. Okay, let's turn and get some shots on them as they run. This is where Kanane's Hunt would be really useful to have. You know, over and above Miltiades, because you can continue to shoot them as they run away, particularly with the range of Slingers. But I think the speed you get from Miltiades is probably worth it. It's just a shame that you don't get fear available. That would be really nice if you did. So let's stick with our infantry. We're doing a pretty good job of having them support us, or they're doing a good job of looking after me, I should say. And this is where range is lovely as well. Look at that. I can apply damage over the entire course of the map. Ceasefire there. Cause friendly fire. Sorry. Ah, stupid. It's really annoying when you cause friendly fire in that sort of way. Okay, so let's keep up with our infantry to start moving back up again. Looks like we're capping out the enemy base. Looks like we're going to be doing pretty well now. Caused a distressingly large amount of friendly fire on some of this game. Some of it probably was acceptable, like shooting into this Onger over here will have accrued me quite a bit. I think that is probably fine. And as an artillery player myself, like I know if I've been caught, or an archer player, you know, if you're getting caught and you're just definitely going to be dead, it's better to shoot in and kill the cavalry in that sort of situation. But it's not when you know your infantry are engaged in a fight, something like that, and you're doing a disproportionate amount of damage to useful team allies. But obviously, once you're caught on your own by 3 units of cavalry, that one little artillery group is certainly dead. So I might as well cause the enemy damage. Quickly. So let's keep moving back up. I think it's just that enemy cavalry now they've got left. We're a long way from being able to do anything here, but they are engaged with Slingers, and they're kind of outnumbered. I don't think they're going to be winning that fight. If I can get close enough, I will shoot into the back. Probably these, because you'll be able to get a clean shot here without causing too much damage. And that is actually one of the friendly fire benefits of Slingers, is the fact that because they have that really low arc, if you're shooting into the back of a fight like this, you know, you're rather than archers volleying shots right over and sort of landing in the middle, you can hit pretty in the back, and it will just hit the enemies without causing friendly fire. But obviously, now these guys are coming in to recharge them, then we know full well that I can't shoot in the back because I'll cause so much friendly fire again. Infantry charge to gain a little bit of ground. does have quite a nice charge of Miltiades, it's got to be said. So yeah, it's kind of a Slingers in a nutshell. Causes a lot of friendly fire. But yeah, decent amounts of damage, particularly at this tier. They're really quite nice at tier 5. Supposedly, from what I've heard, they're supposed to then get worse at tier 6 and tier 7, but then they seem to get really quite good again at tier 8 because their weapon damage gets really quite high. So yeah, they're a bit of a mixed bag. Whether they're better or worse than archers, I don't know. Probably slightly worse. Once you get into the higher tiers, I think you probably tend to see more archers at tier 10 than you do slingers. But I think slingers can also be pretty sort of effective as well, so it's kind of a little bit of a balance to how well you want to play in your playstyle. The range is really nice, and you know, combined with that strain, it means you can hit people such a long way away. It's just pretty lovely. I mean, as you saw, you know, you can hit that cavalry running away from us right at the other end of the map, and so the range is just wonderful. And it means you can sort of stay in protection a lot easier and apply your damage sort of all around you without too much trouble. The low firing arc on a map like that isn't really a problem, as you saw. It was quite easy for us to apply our damage. But if you get on a map like, say, Hadrian's Wall or Georgovia, where it's kind of boxy and you can get into such a situation where there's no one you can shoot at, and where, say, particularly on Hadrian's Wall, where enemy archers can shoot over the wall at you, but you can't shoot back at them because, you know, your flat arc means you can't clear the wall, and that can be kind of a problem with these guys sometimes in certain maps, which can be really frustrating as well. And obviously, as I say, the low firing arc just takes a bit of getting used to, particularly if you've been using archers, because if, like me, you're not that used to slingers, then it's kind of easy to sometimes cause a little bit of friendly fire unnecessarily. I was going to show you the game results, but it doesn't look like this game is actually going to be coming back to us anytime soon. Hello, hello. No, it's not going to be happening. So I guess we'll end the video there. Hopefully you have enjoyed this little snippet. I was trying to think, the reason I did slingers, I forgot to say at the beginning, I was thinking, because I did my heavy artillery video not that long ago, throwing some big ass rocks, I thought we'll call this one throwing some tiny ass rocks, because they're both throwing rocks, but these are small, and that's why we're looking at slingers. That's how my mind works. So, hopefully you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel for lots more Total War content, and I shall see you all on the next video.